Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm Nico, that's a pen name, disclaimer out there I guess, blah, 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 blah. We're off to a great start. So, this is my first ever Q&A video. I did technically try to make one like earlier, no questions, I did not have enough subscribers, but y'all got me to 1K. Which is amazing. I'm actually at like, I'm above that by like a lot, but yeah. We're there. It's amazing. So I posted, how long ago did I post this? A month ago. Just like, ask me questions. I did ask for like no personal questions. So I think there are a couple questions I'm not really comfortable answering. That is not an insult to anyone. I want to emphasize that. There are some things that I'm just not comfortable sharing on the internet, just like I'm sure there are some things you're not comfortable sharing on the internet. Like I said, it is not an insult to anyone. Please, you don't have to apologize because you didn't force me to answer it. So there's nothing to apologize for. You asked the question and I'm just personally not comfortable answering it. Also, I do just want to point out that I am technically in a cosplay right now. This is like a Lily Evans casual closet cosplay thing. I did not dye my eyebrows red. They are still brown. They're just red for this because she's a natural redhead and I'm planning on filming some stuff as her. So we're just gonna go in the order that they're showing up under here. I have 13 comments, but I believe like a few of them aren't questions and some have a lot of questions in them. So I don't know how many questions I have. So yeah, let's just go through them. The epic has been Owl Fangirl 167, multi-fandom there, asks, what was your first cosplay you ever did? That is unfortunately kind of a complicated answer. I don't know if it was Thalia Grace or Yuri Plisetsky because I planned my Yuri cosplay before I cosplayed Thalia, and Yuri was, you know, full face of makeup, wig, like cosplay I had bought, it was like perfectly accurate. Thalia was a closet cosplay, which I had done like a bit of before, but none of them ever looked accurate. It was sort of just like Halloween costume style. I bought one thing for that cosplay, which was my silver rain jacket that I just happened to walk into Goodwill. This has happened multiple times, by the way. I have had in my head, I need this random specific thing. I walk into Goodwill and it's the first thing I found. I went as like a female JD from Heather's for a Halloween party once, and I was like, I need a trench coat. I walk in and it was on a rack right by the door. I almost walked into it. So I went to Goodwill thinking, I wonder if they'll have any kind of like silver coat. And one of the first things I see is a silver rain jacket. So I bought that, and then I just made out of like some silver tape I found around the house the headband. My hair was black. I technically like redid the roots with like some temporary dye. I didn't even do a full face of makeup. But that was my first time I like filmed a bunch of stuff and I posted it, you know, as a cosplay. So I just don't know. I sort of think of Thalia as like my first like closet cosplay, my first attempt at a cosplay, but Yuri Plisetsky as my first cosplay, if that makes any sense. Soda Tab cosplays, I love you. I love you, Soda. You're Tab, Soda. I feel like you've mentioned that you don't care if people call you Soda or Tab. Love you. Your cosplays are amazing. How should I get into Epic the Musical / where should I start? That is a great question. It can be a little bit confusing. Personally, I would recommend going on Spotify if you have it. If you don't, I'll list the order of the sagas in one sec. Go onto Spotify and Jorge has a playlist that has all of the songs in order, and I would just listen to all of them, and if there's any that you're confused on, go and look up the lyrics. And then you'll be able to see who is singing it. And then once you've just sort of listened to it the first time and like absorbed it, then you should start looking up some like animatics, and you can try to find like the official ones that Jorge like commissioned. Or you can just like look at Gigi's, because yeah, Gigi, Merxie, Wolfie the Witch. Those are the ones that are going to give you the most accurate like what Epic fans think everything is. Neil the Illustrator is great, but they do more like creative stuff with their stuff, with their work. So basically that means it's not like canon to Epic. Like they have Poseidon missing an arm, which is not canon to Epic. But Gigi, Wolfie the Witch, Merxie. Those are great options because animatics are a huge part of Epic the Musical. But if you don't have Spotify, basically it was released in sagas, and it's a concept album, by the way. And so it was released in sagas. The order, so obviously the songs are in order within the sagas, but they're released as like different albums. So it goes the Troy Saga, the Cyclops Saga, the Ocean Saga, the Circe Saga, the Underworld Saga, the Thunder Saga, the Wisdom Saga, the Vengeance Saga, and the Ithaca Saga. So just listen to them in that order, maybe look up lyrics just so you know who's singing. But personally, I got into it when the Circe Saga had just been released. And I just listened to it. I think I listened to the Circe Saga first because that was what kept popping up, and then I realized I'm supposed to go in order. So I went in order, I just listened to it, and I was able to figure out who is singing. It's pretty easy because it is a musical, so you know, you're supposed to be able to tell. If you get later in, it's like there will be characters singing and their names aren't said. It's kind of on purpose, but like the fandom knows their names, like Paramedes. Give me that baby, I need it off a tower. What? There's a side to the fandom that's crazy. So yeah, once you do all that, watch a few animatics, just start watching Jorge's videos and then they'll all start popping up on your feed. And that you'll understand a lot of the jokes, like why the Macarena is the only correct dance for Luck Runs Out. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Mars bars, 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, this side. I have Mars bars. I technically have them on both sides of me. I got them in London. They don't sell Mars bars in the US. So Mars bars asks, what is your favorite movie and what's your least favorite? I'm more of a TV show girl. Like, I know what my favorite TV show is. And it's embarrassing, so we're not going to get into that. Actually, it's Yuri on Ice. I feel like we all should have seen that coming. I have it memorized. It's a problem. What is my favorite movie? Well, it would be the Yuri on Ice movie, but, you know. I mean, for the longest time, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix was my favorite movie. I had that memorized down to, like, the angles of the camera, and I am not kidding. I am not exaggerating when I say if I could draw, I could have frame by frame recreated that movie from my memory. Every single time I had the chance to watch something, that's what I watched. I just brushed my hair out of the wrong eye. It's reversed in my camera, which is why I'm like confused as to where I'm pointing. But that was like in middle school. And I'm in high school, so I like don't watch movies. This is really weird. It's like just hitting me now how much I just like don't watch movies. My least favorite movie? Ooh, okay, this one I actually know. Let me see if I can find the name of it. So that took some Googling. But I was able to find the name of it. In my house, we call it the B-movie, and we don't mean the B-movie. We mean the documentary Honeyland. It was the worst thing I have ever seen. It was so boring. It was so slow. The pacing was all wrong. It had potential. I don't think I would have liked it even if it had been well executed, because documentaries are not my kind of thing. We used to have a thing in our house which was like family movie night, where once a week one of our parents would pick a movie and show it to us. And it stopped after Honeyland. It was that bad that we stopped it about 30 minutes in, and that 30 minutes felt like actually forever. It is basically about this lady who takes care of bees. No, that's the whole plot. That is the movie. That is the movie. We might have watched like an hour of it. I do remember that there is a family who like moves in next to her, and I'm like, oh, here comes the conflict. No, they just live there. Okay. One of the girls almost drowned, and I was bored while that was happening. That shows that it was the production, because you can make drowning scary really easily. Just play a dramatic score and, you know, have the camera on the girl and have people being like, she's drowning, oh no. And suddenly it's at least entertaining. It was just a bunch of bees and they were just going bzzz. And the lady was just like taking care of the bees and chatting with her new neighbors, and you know, a girl drowned and then, but she didn't because her brother saved her. That's how it all felt. It was so bad. It was so bad. Like, I would say no offense if you like this movie, but it was bad enough that I'm not even gonna say that. It was that bad. Liz, I am no man, love you, asks, who's your favorite all-time character? Also, what's your favorite musical? My favorite all-time character, my all-time favorite character, whatever. You'd think Nico D'Angelo or like Yuri Plisetsky. Nina Zenik from Six of Crows. You can't see, but I have the collector's edition of Six of Crows. It's just on a higher shelf. Yeah, Nina Zenik, Six of Crows. Cannot get enough from her. And in my opinion, she's never been written poorly. You can have your own opinions on King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. Personally, I loved them. But I think we can all agree Nina wasn't written poorly. Even if her plotline was, even if you feel like her plotline didn't match the others, Nina the character. Amazing. Love her so much. So much. But I do also really love Nico. I don't know. Guys, I don't actually think either of those are accurate anymore. I think if I'm being 100% honest, I have to look at this camera and say my all-time favorite character right now is Regulus Black. And we're moving on to the next question now. Hermes is asking, who is your favorite Greek god? Now, I have read Greek mythology. I don't know if they're on these shelves. Nope, you can't see them. They're right up here. There are Greek myth books there. There's a whole pile of them right over here. I have multiple statues of Greek goddesses. One of them broke 2 days ago. It was my Aphrodite statue. So if my love life is doomed now, that is why I am working on fixing it though. I will fix the statue. But also by statues, I mean like little, they're like this big. I have done my research and I know not to answer that question at all. So instead I will just tell you some of the Greek gods who catch my attention. Also, I'm assuming you mean god or goddess, probably. I'll give answers for all of them. Disclaimer, this is not in any way my favorite god or goddess. This is not hinting at my favorite god or goddess. I like genuinely actually don't have a favorite god or goddess from Greek mythology. So this is not me trying to like sneakily put my answer in. This is just some things I enjoy about some of the gods and goddesses in Greek mythology. My godly parent would either be Hades or Nemesis. It kind of depends. If you go from the Percy Jackson lore, my godly parent would be Hades. But if you go from the Greek mythology lore, my godly parent would be Nemesis. I think that Artemis's aesthetic is beautiful. I really like the moon and the woods at night and girls hunting. That just is a really nice aesthetic to have. I love Ares and Athena's sort of sibling dynamic. I think that in modern literature, Hermes is an amazing character because you can do so much with him. I really like in Greek mythology Apollo and Artemis's sibling dynamic, but I do not like their dynamic in Percy Jackson. Hot take. I think Hestia is overlooked, and I'm not talking about modern media, I am talking about in Greek mythology. I do believe that Hestia is overlooked, and I would like more myths about her. I think it is very, very fitting, if you look into the history of theater, that Dionysus is both the god of wine and the god of theater. And I really wish that we saw like Selene and Artemis interacting. I know that the transition between who was the goddess of the moon wasn't a quite literal like, boom, Artemis, you're the goddess of the moon. It was more of a cultural shift. I would love like a modern take on that transition, but not like, I want a modern author to write it. Sort of like Madeline Miller style. I would love that. So that is how I will answer that question. And there were a lot of gods and goddesses that I love that I did not include in there. I think Hecate is very interesting to study. I think that, you know, the big three, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades, I think that they're all like super powerful. They have really cool myths. I think all of them are really cool. Aphrodite, I love how, like, I don't know, I think modern literature kind of destroys Aphrodite. I really like her in Greek mythology, especially in regards to the Trojan War. Get Jinxed 19 asks, sorry, I got distracted. First of all, I haven't been like reading the messages people have been, I mean, I've been reading them, I just haven't been reading them out loud. But one thing that Get Jinxed is saying, you have helped me in more ways than you can imagine. Thank you? This is the weird thing. That I get comments being like when I went to London, someone was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe you're here. There's like a slim chance I might meet you. I'm like, I'm just some random teenager who decided to start posting content. I'm not like, this is the one part of like gaining subscribers that's starting to be like, what's happening? I'm fine with it. I accept that it is like part of what happens. I'm not upset at all when you guys comment those things. I want to be clear, like that's really sweet and it does like mean a lot to me, and I'm really glad that I'm able to help you and that you enjoy my content, but it's new. It's new and I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Not in a bad way. I just like don't know if that makes any sense. But Get Jinxed asks, what ship would you like your future relationships to be like? For context, I mean, if you would describe your future relationships in a ship, what would you like your ship to be? That is a very interesting question that I'm going to have to think about. So give me a sec. Like Marlene and Dorcas, but that doesn't, I think I need to pick one that's actually like, you know, from something and not like fans being fans of nothing. Because how does one even describe the Marauders fandom? It was fans who didn't want to be fans of Harry Potter, so they made a whole new fandom. I don't even know. Okay. Ooh, guys, I read fantasy. They're all toxic. Everyone's just toxic. I guess like Tycho and Jax from Forging Silver into Stars by Bridget Kemmerer, which is right. Yeah, I picked the right side right here. Those two. I don't want like all the difficulties that surround to them. I guess I don't really want to be like them. Especially with the new issues in Carving Gold, the sequel. Guys, there's no like good relationships. Percy and Annabeth? I don't want that much of a slow burn. I want something that's not toxic, that's sweet, where like they both trust each other and everyone's happy and it's not like the most intense slow burn of slow burns. I love slow burns, but I don't like them in real life. I don't like situationships. I want like a love at first sight, non-toxic, cute, fluff, like emotionally invested. I don't know. Nico and Will? Do they kind of have that? Maybe? So there's a lot of angst going on in there though. But not like within their relationship. Like within them as characters there's a ton of angst, but not as characters. James and Lily, they're canon in Harry Potter. James and Lily. No, I just remembered how they get together. That is a slow burn. Oh, see guys, I love slow burns in books. And I love toxic relationships in books. I just don't want any of that. I was gonna say Helene and Harper, Helena Kila and Avitas Harper from An Ember in the Ashes, they meet when Harper is torturing Helene. Yes, he has orders to do so, but still. And you know, that ending, where I didn't smile for 3 days after reading that. What about Peeta and Katniss? No, slow burn, fake dating, don't want that. Okay, we're gonna stop looking at like the situation that gets them into the ship. Once they're together, I want to be Percy and Annabeth, or Nico and Will, or Lily and James. Hopefully that's an answer. Nova the Fey Wolf asks, which are your favorite / least favorite epic sagas? My least favorite is the Cyclops saga, simply because there's only one song in that saga that I can actually listen to by itself, and that is My Goodbye. And I love My Goodbye. But as a saga overall, I can't handle on my headphones the distortion of Polyphemus's voice. Even not on headphones, that still, it's just not relaxing. It really stresses me out. It's the frequency. There's something about the frequency. So I only listen, and I love the songs. I love singing parts of them, but they change a lot. You know, they're very like plot-driven songs, and I personally prefer the songs that are more like the I want songs, or the songs that like develop the character instead of the plot. So because it is so plot heavy and there's a lot of people dying, and Polyphemus's voice doesn't do well with my ears, that is my least favorite, but that does not mean I don't like it. I love it when I listen to Epic all the way through. I just can't listen to it by itself. And my favorite, Wisdom or Ithaca, because I love Migo. I love Telemachus. You guys know this. I love Telemachus. And honestly, I like Telemachus better, like, in the Odyssey. But I do like Epic Telemachus. You know, he's very different, but I love my little Disney princess, you know? Like, it's okay to make changes sometimes. And I don't know exactly what made Jorge make that decision, but if that's the Telemachus we get, that's the Telemachus we get, and I love him. He's adorable. I think I would have to say Wisdom. Yeah, it's Wisdom. I love some of the songs in the Ithaca saga more than I love some of the songs in the Wisdom saga, but overall, Wisdom, because I love Telemachus. Also, by the way, when I'm saying this, I mean I love them as characters, not as people. I love Telemachus, I love Athena, I love Antinous, and I love Calypso, and I love God Games. So, it's pretty perfect. Child of Apollo asks, have you seen Neil Illustrator's Just a Man? No, sort of. I saw Mad's reaction to it, but I haven't seen it like without her pausing. What's your sexuality? That is the question I was thinking of when I gave that disclaimer of things I am not comfortable putting on the internet. I'm a minor. That's my business, not yours. I totally get why you would ask it. That is something a lot of people talk freely about on the internet. But all you need to know is I am satisfied with where I am in that. And I'm a teenager. So to me, sexuality is fluid. I know it is not to everyone. To me it is. And where I'm at right now might not be where I'm at in a month, 2 months, a year. And it's definitely not where I was at when I started this channel. And I think I'm still learning things about myself, learning things that I thought were true that aren't, that I thought weren't true that are. And I think that is something that, you know, I'm free to talk to my friends about and explore in my life. And beyond that, I am not going to put that information out there on the internet right now. What are your pronouns? My pronouns are she, her. When is the next Telemachus reaction? That's a good question. I have no clue. I ran out of footage. I recorded reacting to all of Act 1 in one sitting, and that's what I've been releasing, and that's done. I tried to record Act 2. I only got through 2 of the sagas. My makeup wasn't working that day. My wig looked terrible, and I really messed up. What on earth? Just realized I've been like screen recording this whole time. But that's what I messed up. I messed up screen recording because I tried to do it like with headphones and screen recording so I could like edit it better, but it came out. I messed it up, and I wouldn't have been able to edit it. So I don't have any footage. And then you see my Telemachus wig got sacrificed to my Anya cosplay. So I ordered a new one. And then that one got sacrificed to my Sua cosplay, and I also used that one for my Asa cosplay. So I don't really have a wig for Telemachus right now, and I also want to upgrade his outfit because I put it together in like a day, and I just want it to be better. So it could be a while because I'm also con crunching for a bunch of things happening in August and September. And I mean like four conventions, yes. One of which I'm going to for 3 days. So that's just a lot, and I'm trying to make 4 new cosplays for all that. So there's a lot happening right now. Florence9945, I know this person, by the way. I know her in real life. What do you think of Nicki Minaj? Honestly, Florence, the only things I know about Nicki Minaj are the things that you have told me, which I don't feel like repeating on the internet. Soul7952, who if you don't go in my comments much, you wouldn't know this. If you do go in my comments, you probably know I know Soul. She's like my best friend. I love her. Can oranges teleport? Yes, they can. We just haven't figured out the like exact mechanism for doing so. I think the bats might have something to do with it. So I think instead of just us teleporting with the oranges, we might need to like go find the bats and teleport with them. Maybe the bats are the only ones who can teleport with the oranges. But yes, oranges can teleport. Also, who was your Also, who was your first kiss? You know, I'm not putting that kind of information out there on the internet. You guys don't need to know anything about my dating life, my sexuality, my relationship status. That's my business. But Soul, you do know. So I don't know why you're asking me, because you know. So yeah, that has been my first ever Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found out some interesting information about me. Like, I don't watch enough movies to know what my favorite movie is, which is funny because I do actually watch movies. I don't understand, but I can't get as like fixated on them. But I can, I have before, I'm just not right now. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But thank you so much for watching. Feel free to go check out my other content. I'll like put more jewelry on and stuff and like make myself look a little more like Lily, but check out my Lily cosplay stuff that I post. Thank you, bye, I'll see you in the next video.